Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Shots Fired podcast. It's your boy, Big Joe.
And I'm your boy, Too True.
And we hope you enjoy.
Andy Reid does not have a great record of fixing players. He doesn't. Discipline is not his thing. It did not work out particularly well in his family life. And that needs to be added to this. As we're talking about the Chiefs, he wasn't real great at that either. He's had a lot of things go bad on him. Family and players. He is not good at fixing people. He is not good at discipline. That is not his strength. His strength is designing football plays.
This week on...
What the... Hey, everybody, this week's WTF Moment of the Week goes to none other than Kevin Keitzman, the host of Between the Lines on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. Listening to that quote, man, first thing I'm thinking is, how stupid can you be?
Just dumb, man. Like, how you gonna talk about or try to correlate this man's dead son to Tyreek Hill child abuse?
To try and say, well, it's the coach's problem. He's the one that can't control his players. He's the one that couldn't control his son. He's not a disciplinarian. He's not good at being that type of person. All he's good for is drawing up plays. Bro, that's ignorant. That
Just
is
absurd.
They don't go together. How can you blame one man because another man can't get his life right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy is supposed to be his brother, father, uncle, pastor, best friend, confidant. No, he's a coach. It's a business. You don't go to work every day and your boss is responsible for how you behave at your house.
Exactly. Like, that's not their business. That has nothing to do with them. And Tyreek Hill has had reoccurring issues concerning child abuse.
Yeah, so in case you guys weren't aware, Tyreek Hill was being accused of basically breaking his son's arm. And then what happened was he then went on to threaten the baby's mom and said she better worry about it, because she told him, she had it recorded, where she came out and said, you know, I handled up with the investigator, kind of making it seem like she lied on his behalf to make sure he didn't get in trouble. Maybe she was protecting her paycheck as well. I'm not going to speculate. But basically the recordings that they had, she basically said, you know, I held you down when they came asking questions and you haven't gotten better. All you want to do is play video games and you know, be on your phone or whatever. He's the issue. He's the issue, not Andy Reid. Andy Reid has no say-so over this man's household.
Yeah, like, you cannot expect your boss to care about what's going on or try to have a say-so in what's going on outside of your place of employment.
And then for Kevin Keitzman to come in and be so ignorant as to throw a guy under the bus when his son dies of a heroin overdose, and he says, well, that comes from Andy not being a disciplinarian. He's not a good... He doesn't do that well. That's a low blow, man. That's uncalled for.
Yeah, that's definitely a low blow, man. You just, like, one, you don't speak on the dead, man, and especially don't do it in a disrespectful manner. At the end of the day, Andy Reid's son was grown. He was going to make his own decisions, his own life choices. Unfortunately, God bless the dead, you know, this man had to deal with that. Andy Reid did.
Yeah.
So for you to go back and dig that up and bring it up into something that has absolutely nothing to do with that, it's just kind of like, dude, I see why they removed you. You just fishing for a story.
He's trolling, man. And you know what? I'm not one to call for somebody's job, but if Andy Reid was to come in and say, hey, we don't want him around the clubhouse, we don't want him at our events, I think he's justified in that. I also think Kevin Keitzman owes Andy Reid a personal a personal apology, that's where you start. Like I said, I'm not calling for his job. Far be it from me to tell anybody how to make a living. But damn, son, like, I need you to get your life right when you're talking about other people like that.
You's out of control, man. You are out of control.
So for that reason, Kevin Keitzman, you get this week's What the Moment of the Week. We'll be right back.
Dog, you ready to take this L? Are you ready to take this L?
Let's see what you got, man.
NFC North.
Okay.
Who coming out that division as the winner?
NFC North, give me the Minnesota Vikings.
Hell no. With Kirk Cousins?
Give me the Vikings.
Are you serious?
Give me the Vikings.
Are you serious?
Give me the Vikings.
Absolutely not. Definitely.
Who you got? Let me.
You already know who I got.
Speaking with you for the
past know who I
4
got.
weeks, I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to say, but
the
let
GOAT.
me just take a wild guess.
With a capital G.
Take a wild guess.
The GOAT.
I'm
Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
I'm gonna say Green Bay.
Absolute, man. He coming back on a vengeance after what happened last year.
Let's hope that knee holds up. Let's go with that first. Let's try to make sure he stays healthy.
Well, let's hope Kirk Cousins hold up. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, man. Green Bay coming back. Green Bay coming back this year, man. I think they made some smart moves defensively, getting rid of Clay Matthews. He was garbage. Replacing certain players on the defense, and also drafting well. Whenever you got Aaron Rodgers, you always got a chance. I believe they're going to reign supreme in that division next year. I don't think Minnesota will be close. I think that division will come down to Green Bay and the Chicago Bears. I don't trust Minnesota. Even though they have great coaching, I don't trust Minnesota.
Mike Zimmer's turned it around since he came into Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Let me just give you a couple of facts here. First one. Minnesota's the only team in the NFC North to win the division more than once in the last 4 years. The Vikings finished first in 2015 and 2017. Even though they missed the playoffs last year, they ended up with the second best record in the North behind the Bears. And they've never finished last in the division since Mike Zimmer was hired to be their head coach in 2014. So these guys are pretty consistent. They're always competing for the top spot. I think, had everybody stayed healthy last year, that defense, they looked a little suspect. That was supposed to be their strong suit last year.
Yeah.
I think they'll turn it around this year. I think Mike Zimmer will get some things in place, and I think that defense will keep more teams to a lower score. And I think for that reason, Minnesota's got the firepower. They can do it. They have the offense. Despite what you say about Cousins, they have all the weapons they need. And I think for that reason, Minnesota's going to surprise a lot of people and come out on top.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Minnesota's coming out on top. I got to give it to Green Bay. You got the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know about this new coach that they have, Matt LaFleur. I don't know if I trust him.
That's another reason.
We're
already hearing stories about how LaFleur's like, hey, we're going to run this. And Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, I got this.
But
I got this. You can't have your coach out here calling plays and your quarterback saying, you know what? I'm going to run what I want to run because this is my team.
Yeah, you can. He did it with Mike McCarthy, and they
won
a Super Bowl.
Where's Mike McCarthy?
But they won a Super Bowl.
Where's Mike McCarthy?
They won a Super Bowl.
Nowhere to be found.
They won a Super Bowl
Because
with
of
Aaron Rodgers changing plays because Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. But anyways, I think I think what they really need to focus on is their running game. Green Bay hasn't had a running game in a minute, but
they don't have one ever.
But although they don't have a run game, they have the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers.
You cannot count
Yes,
on
you
that guy
can.
to just carry you. He can't consistently do it. As great as he is, he cannot carry that franchise. He just can't. And I think he has that same mentality you have of, I'm Aaron Rodgers.
He's
All
the
I
GOAT.
got to do is be me, roll my helmet out there, and we're going to just win game after game. Ridiculous. You cannot have that mentality in today's NFL. You can't. It's a team game. There's 11 guys on offense.
It's a
11
team
on
game in
defense.
general, bro.
You can't have one guy saying, I run the show, and it just is what it is. You just can't. You can't.
So, again, I say they have Aaron Rodgers, the GOAT. I think they have a good young wide receiver in Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Again, I don't know about the coaching yet. It could be suspect. And like I said, I think they made some good moves defensively. But whenever you have Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance, period.
Plus,
now
you're kind of poo-pooing on Chicago. That was the team that won it last year, and they made a little run.
Right, they won it last year
and
with
as
an
long as
unhealthy Aaron Rodgers.
They have Khalil Mack chasing Aaron Rodgers down. I don't see that offensive line getting any better either.
Hey, man, we it's yet to be seen, but I think as far as protecting Rodgers, the last couple years has been pretty suspicious. I think they'll improve. They want to take care of their main guy. And, again, like I said, I think the division is going to come down to Chicago and with Matt Nagy and the Green Bay Packers. So I think it's going to be between those two. But if you ask me who I'm taking out of those two, I'm definitely taking Green Bay.
I think
Now,
Mitch Trubisky way overperformed last year.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I didn't pick them. Just because Trubisky had a great year last year, and I think they were something special last year. I think bringing in Khalil Mack, that really fired up that entire defense.
Absolutely.
And you got Matt Nagy there. It's just a whole new culture, and you're just like, you know what? Those guys really bought in. It's hard to repeat as a division winner. We've seen that especially here in the NFC East. With the Cowboys and stuff, and everybody winning the division. It's never a back-to-back situation. So you kind of put that on the North as well. It's hard to repeat. And again, with Trubisky doing the things he did last year, it was just a special team last year. I don't think they can do it again. Just my opinion.
Definitely defensively, they were special. I just don't trust Trubisky yet. So we'll see this year, but I do think that division is going to come down to Green Bay and the Chicago Bears. Minnesota, I think they'll fall in third, and I'm giving Detroit the fourth slot. Like Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Detroit, I'm sorry to say, Detroit has a lot of work to do. I'm not believing in Matt Stafford. I think he's now at the point where he's on the tail end of his career. And, it's time to start moving on.
Definitely with Detroit, they have some real questionable things going on there, man. Like, they were supposed to have a good defense. I didn't see a good defense. I do think they have some pretty decent players like Darius Slay. He's a good cornerback. I say top 10, top 15 in the league. Matt Stafford, surprisingly, I rate Matt Stafford the same way I rate Kirk Cousins. I think they're in the same boat, man. These guys can throw, but they just don't have the it. Like, they're not winners.
In my opinion, they have more playmakers. They have more pieces in place. And again, when I'm looking at everything, I'm looking at that defense. So I'm just kind of looking through the numbers here. Chicago had the number one defense in the NFL overall last year.
Right.
Okay, out of the other three teams in the North, where do you think they stood? Okay, Chicago was one.
Right.
So now we're talking Green Bay, Detroit, and
Well, Green Bay, I think definitely
Minnesota.
was. I think Green Bay was at the bottom of the barrel.
22.
I think Minnesota. I think Minnesota was probably somewhere in the middle, 15 to 20.
Number 9.
Oh no.
Yes, sir. And Detroit was 17. That's what I'm saying, man. You're secure. You're securing yourself on one side of the ball with Aaron Rodgers, and now you have Matt LaFleur. But you don't have a complete team to compete. That's what I'm saying. Minnesota, they have the potential to be a good offense. It does fall heavily on Cousins and what he can do. But again, I'm more confident that Minnesota can do more with the players they have than Green Bay is going to be able to do with just Aaron Rodgers and a couple of supporting players. They don't have the complete package.
Nah, I think you're wrong because we've seen Minnesota went and got Kirk Cousins. And what was the quarterback that they let go? What was his name? He went to Washington. Case Keenum. So they got rid of Case Keenum, went and got Kirk Cousins. Essentially had the same team, and they sucked last year. So I see how you're looking at it from both sides of the ball. In this case, I do think numbers lie, and I'll give you a good example. In 2015, the Dallas Cowboys, 2015 and 16, the Dallas Cowboys had a top 10, top 15 defense, but that didn't show on the field. So I can't sit here and say, yeah, Minnesota has a good defense. They have good players on offense with Diggs and Thielen.
Yeah.
When
but
we've seen,
you also have to remember last year was Cousins' first year with the Vikings. He's learning a new system. He's got a new coach.
No, I'm sorry.
He's coming into a new program. Aaron Rodgers has been there his entire career.
I'm sorry. They paid that man like he should have known what he was doing.
Okay.
So
I promise you, we'll put money on it now. I promise you, Minnesota's going to do better.
We're not illegally gambling. I'm sorry.
No. Nah, you didn't hear that, guys. Y'all didn't hear that. But what I'm saying is, I promise you, Minnesota is going to surprise you this year. I think Chicago is going to end up second. I think it's going to be Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit.
Absolutely,
My
you're
predictions.
wrong. You are absolutely wrong. The way this division is going to fall, Green Bay, Chicago Bears, Minnesota, Detroit Lions are going to be last like they always are.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a lock. Green Bay at fourth in that division is a lock, but I honestly look forward to seeing how it all shakes out. Again, with Kirk Cousins coming back for his second year, he's got another year under his belt. He knows the offense inside and out now. He's got another year with his supporting players, Diggs, Thielen. I think those guys are set to make a run. Again, that defense looks sharp, and I think that if they can stay again within that top 10 in defense, bring that offense up a little bit, put them even in the top 10, then you're looking at a team that has potential to make some moves, and I just don't see it with Green Bay.
I just don't see it with Minnesota, man. Like, I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I've seen Kirk Cousins throughout watching our Dallas Cowboys when he was in Washington, and he was just garbage. Like, he's trash. So I don't see them winning because they got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins reminds me of Tony Romo.
Well, I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is going to be the sole reason they win. I'm saying he puts you in a good position. Tony Romo put the Cowboys in a great position to win. He also made some plays that put him in a position to lose, but he kept the games competitive.
Not in a position to lose. We did lose.
Kirk Cousins puts you in a position to win. He keeps you competitive, and that's what you need when you have a solid defense. You just need an offense that can keep you competitive, and I think this year a lot of things are going to turn around. So we know you're wrong. We know I'm right.
We don't know that because I'm always right. And man, I've been busting you up since every week on this show.
I kill you week after week, and
I busted you up on every week.
Everybody knows it.
Look, man, so my final take, like I said, Green Bay, Chicago second, Minnesota third, and the Detroit Lions are going to be fourth.
We'll see, man. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know where you have that division playing out. We'll be right back after this quick break. So today, before we end the podcast, we just wanted to touch on something that we're going to try to do moving forward at the end of every episode. And it's kind of like a moment of reflection, a moment of inspiration that we have sometime during the week, whatever it is, whether it's a video, a quote, just anything that we see that kind of inspires us, and we discuss it and how it applies to our day to day. And we want to share it with you guys and have you guys hopefully take away something from it like we do, and we hope that it inspires you, because that's what we ultimately want to do with our podcast. We want to inspire. We want to show everybody that, hey, it's okay to chase your dreams. It's okay to dream big, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be hesitant. But eventually we want to get you to a point where we are, where we take that jump and we make that move. And you don't necessarily always have to see the greatest results right off top, but if you don't take the shot, you're not going to see any results. It's okay. A lot of times when you want to better yourself, when you want to do better, when you want to create things for yourself, people will call you selfish. And it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to do for you, because if you don't do for you, nobody else is going to do for you. It's okay to think about yourself. You know what I mean? It's okay to want better. So we hope that when you hear it, it speaks to you. The quote that I'm talking about comes from Thoreau. I saw it on a video, and basically what it was a quote that said, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation." And, what does that mean to me? It means, we go throughout our day to day, and we wake up early in the morning to get ready to go to a job that we hate. We get stuck in traffic for an hour. You get to your job. You sit in your cubicle. You talk to people you don't really care for. You do a job that you don't really care for. You're doing it because it's a paycheck. It pays the bills. You talk to your manager. They sit you down for your little review, and they tell you all the things you're doing right, and they tell you all the things you're doing wrong. They tell you about how you need to take it more seriously, that this is, your career, your future. But deep down in your mind, you're thinking, it's not. This job doesn't define me. It's not who I am. I'm destined for more. I'm better than this. It's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay to acknowledge, you know what? I'm better than this. I can do better than this. I'm born for better than this. And if you think that you're not, you're wrong. You're sadly mistaken if you think that you're not, because you are. Everybody has potential to be so much more, but it's what kind of effort are you willing to put into it? And do you have that support around you? And do you have that belief in yourself? To me, I'm very blessed to have that support. I can't say, not to sound conceited, but I can't say that I've ever not had that belief in myself, because I do believe strongly in myself. And I do believe that I'm destined for more, that there's something better for me out there. I just have to go and find it. And it started with meeting T and having a discussion with him at work. And we started talking about sports, and we talk about podcasting. And, he tells me the first time he met me, he thought I was a butthole, and that's okay. We all get like that sometimes. We all have that immediate reaction to somebody that may be right, may not be right. But that's what it starts with. It starts with having a conversation when you talk about things you like, things that interest you, things that inspire you, motivate you. And talking to him, we started talking about podcasting. And he tells me, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about starting a podcast. And I'm like, man, I've wanted to start one too. We should do it. Yeah, we should do it. Week goes by, we talk about it again. Hey, we should do it. Yeah, we should do it. At what point do you say, you know what, we should do it, and then you start making moves?
I definitely agree with everything that you stated. I feel like we, just as people, have to start chasing our dreams, man. Like, I think some of us feel like we have dreams that are so far-fetched. It goes back to what we were talking about last week with the crabs in the bucket mentality. Most people, the only thing that they know is their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you don't experience anything else, how could you truly know what it is that you want to do? Like me, myself personally, I'm okay with going to a job, but I don't have the employee mindset to where I feel like I'm going to be working for somebody for the rest of my life. I want to start my own businesses. Like you said, taking the leap to start this podcast, man, it was one of the best things that we could have done, that I could have done personally, because this could take you in so many different directions. And plus, we love to talk.
Yeah.
Outside of the sports, just have regular conversations about real issues that are actually going on in society and that may be affecting us personally as well as professionally. You know, just getting out there, man, and taking the leap. Just getting out there, man, and taking the leap and having the courage to do something different, having a desire to want more than what you currently have, and just making them right moves, man. Like, I never wanted to be the person that got stuck with all I can do is wake up and go to work.
Yeah.
And
and you know what? Don't get me wrong. Some people love that life.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If
Right.
that's who you are and you love it, that's one thing.
Right.
But if you don't love it, if it
you're the
doesn't
person,
speak to you,
right,
then hey, it's never too late to change.
right. Like you said, man, it's never too late to go out here and start pursuing what it is that you want to pursue. Like, you just got to have the courage. You have to have faith in yourself, bet on yourself. You have to be willing to put your best foot forward and give everything, and just give it 150%, man. When me and you, like, we don't half-ass doing the podcast.
Right.
You know, we put our best foot forward, and hopefully the listeners, they receive it that way.
Right.
We want to be able to put out good content. We want to be able to take feedback, legitimate feedback, like, hey, I think you guys could work on this or maybe include this. Like, we're all for listeners and fans giving their perspective. We just want to make sure that we're at the best of our game. And I think just with doing something like this at the end of every show, it'll give a little perspective, a little insight into what and who we are as people, how we think. Definitely be a dream chaser. If you're okay with waking up, going to a job every day, that's perfectly fine. But take the time out and at least try to pursue, even if it's a hobby.
And like you said, you know, some people might think that their dream is too outrageous, like it's just too big. Those are the ones. Those are the ones you want to chase. If it scares you, if it puts you out of a comfort zone, you're on the right track.
Right.
You know, if it's something that you think is going to challenge you, you're on the right track. That's where you want to be. You don't want to have a dream that when you talk to your friends about, they're like, yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see you doing that. You're not dreaming big enough. You're not thinking big enough.
Yeah, man, definitely challenge yourself. I know I always do. You always hear me say this. I'm a strong believer in taking the stairs. I feel like whatever it is that you're chasing, it takes time. Like, you don't really have a lot of overnight successes. People see these famous people and think that, oh my God, they're so successful, they did it real fast, but this came from years of grinding.
Exactly.
Years of hustling.
We all see that finished product.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna just give you something that I kind of noticed. Social media in general, it gives such a false perception. Yeah, it gives a false perception of people in their daily lives. You see people that are taking trips, that are buying things, that are, you know, living their best lives.
Yeah.
And hey, that's all fine and good, but that's not necessarily real life. Nobody, I mean, I know some people that do, but for the most part, nobody's going to be on Facebook telling you how crappy their life is and how they can't afford anything. And
exactly.
How life isn't fair. No, people want to show you, everybody wants to show you, hey, look, I'm succeeding. I'm doing things. I'm living my best life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real life. It's not Facebook. It's fake book. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what it is. So what does that do to everybody else? You get to that point where you're like, well,
I can fake it till I make it too.
Yeah. Or why am I not living my best life?
Yeah.
Why am I not taking trips and buying cars? And I want to do that. It's never too late. It's never too late. Give yourself a chance, because if you don't give yourself a chance, nobody else will.
My mom used to always tell me, whatever you do, stay consistent and never quit. The difference between somebody that succeeds versus somebody that fails is the person that succeeded, they stayed consistent and they never quit.
That's just facts, man. That's absolute fact. We hope you guys take this message, use these words to inspire you to do better, to dream bigger, to work harder. Please believe that T and I, we're going to be doing that. We definitely will be dreaming bigger, working harder, and be more inspired, because that's what we do. We do this not just for ourselves, but we do it for our listeners and for people that maybe feel like, they're not heard or they're not thought of. We're reaching out to everybody. This is to everybody. We're not just catering to one group of people with this. So we hope you enjoy it. We thank you so much again for just taking the time to listen. If you get a chance, we do have some stuff up on our Facebook page. We have a couple of t-shirts for sale, $20 on Teespring. We do have the link up in our Facebook page as well. If you see a shirt you like, grab one for yourself, grab one for your favorite guy or girl, and just continue to show support. We appreciate you. We thank you. We love you. Have a good one.